Aliasing. What's aliasing and how do we avoid its negative impact is the subject of this lecture. Recall that to reconstruct a signal, the signal must be sampled above Nyquist rate, which means we need to sample above twice the highest frequency. Recall also that the spectrum of the sampled image, if the original spectrum was a triangle, then the spectrum of the sampled signal will be multiples of these images shifted to the right and to the left at the sampling frequency. And to reconstruct the signal, we need a low-pass filter. So what's going to happen if we did not sample above Nyquist rate? If this triangle overlap with that triangle, in that case, a problem will occur, and we call this aliasing. The following figure shows you the original spectrum of the signal. This is the highest frequency, and if in frequency it's B hertz. And we decided to sample at Fs. This is a sampling frequency. So as we agreed, the spectrum of the sampled signal will be multiple images of the original spectrum shifted at multiples of omega s, minus omega s, 2 omega s, 3 omega s, and so on. You can see that these two images are going to overlap. This center point would be, this is omega s or Fs. This is going to be Fs over 2. This is what we call the folding frequency. So as you can see here, there is overlap between these two frequencies, and this is what we call aliasing. Now, if you want to filter, we're going to have a problem, because when we filter, we're going to get a few issues here. Now, this diagram also shows the same idea. We'll have, this is the original spectrum, the images, I will get the superposition of the two, so what we get is this spectrum. Alright, so this is Fs, this is a sampling frequency, minus Fs, okay? And this is the folding frequency, which we call Fs over 2. Now, all practical signals are band or are time limited, which means they finish in a certain time. So we can think of their bandwidth as being unlimited. So although we are saying in principle band limited signal, we know that there is no real signal as such that has a band limited spectrum. For example, you cannot have this shape. If this is the spectrum, we cannot have exact 0 going back to 0. Usually the spectrum will be band unlimited, which means the bandwidth will continue. So it seems that aliasing is always going to be there, because we cannot really sample above Nyquist rate. In that case, two problems occur. If we use a bandpass filter, so if this is our filter, and to pick the signal, we'll see that the recovered signal now is this part, okay? And the first thing, we have lost the tail, we have lost this tail. And the second thing, as you can see here, that this component is now added up, and we get the wrong spectrum. So the first problem is loss of the tail, okay, the one demonstrated with yellow, for frequencies above half the sampling frequency, or what we call the folding frequency. Also, the reappearance of this tail inside as a folded version, okay, so whatever is above Fs over 2 will be folded inside, and we get the wrong spectrum. So whatever is here is going to be folded, as if we have a mirror here, a folding mirror. All right, now, so any frequency component that is Fs over 2 plus Fx, any extra will be showing up as Fs minus Fx. I'll show you some numbers as an example. So this tail is going to be folded or aliased to the original spectrum. This is what we call aliasing. So this is Fx over Fs over 2 plus Fx. It's going to show up as Fs over 2 minus Fx. Okay, so this is supposed to be a minus sign. The plus will show up inside. All right. Now, to solve this problem, to avoid this overlap, we're going to use what we call the anti-aliasing filter. This is a filter that we have seen before. The anti-aliasing filter is a filter that is that has a low pass response, and it is limited to fs over 2, and this comes before sampling. So if this is my signal, I already know that I'm going to sample at fs. I'll find out what is fs over 2 and use a filter before sampling. What's going to happen now when we get the images? You can see we get images at fs minus fs and so on. So they are not overlapping. There is no overlap between the images. It seems that we have done some harm because we lost the tail, which is the first problem. But at least we did not get the aliasing component. We did not get the other tail being impersonated as within the low pass filter. So to save half of the original signal, okay, this part is going to be removed, and we are using the anti-aliasing filter to solve this problem. Although we are done intentional problem here, but at least this is much better than having two problems. One problem is better than the two. Okay, in this slide, I'm sharing with you some real-life examples where in images, in fact, we have two-dimensional sampling because you take samples across the y-axis and the x-axis, where you divide your image into pixels. If you don't have enough pixels, what happens is that you get aliasing. We know that this is a very high frequency component made of lots of lines. If we don't get enough number of pixels, then we get impersonated components. You can see here that we have some aliasing effect, as if we have different signals. This is what we call aliasing. And the reason for that is we did not sample we did not take enough pixels, or we didn't sample at a very high frequency compared with the frequency of this t-shirt. Okay. Similarly, this image is having high frequency component. If we take low number of pixels, then we get the aliasing effect. As you can see, there are frequency components which are not true. Okay, they're showing up here, this side. These are the frequency components that are not in the original image. What are these? This is aliasing effect. Some high frequency component appearing like low frequency. The other example is when we see the fan rotating on the opposite direction or rotating slower than what is really the case is. And the reason is that, for example, let's say that this is rotating counterclockwise. I took the first frame here, but because I'm not taking enough samples, by the time it gets here, I took the second image, and then it continued to rotate. By the time it's here, I take the third image, and then by the time it rotates, I got the fourth image, and so on. So for somebody who's just looking at the picture from the first time would assume that this is rotating clockwise, where it's in fact was rotating counterclockwise. So there are two nice video examples. The amazing water experiment, I strongly advise you to look at it. It's a very fantastic video. And the other video is the airplane fan aliasing. I'm sharing the link with you here, and the link can be also found in the description. So please enjoy watching these videos, especially the amazing water experiment. I think they are going to make a lot of sense. One more practical example for aliasing. This kind of display is usually scanning at a certain rate, which means it's drawing the image at a certain rate. When you look at by your eyes, by the naked eyes, you already take a lot of samples and you see things properly. But if you capture this using a camera, the camera will have a limited frame rate, which causes this frame to show a small line scanning the display. Okay, this is the high frequency scanning, but because of aliasing, it shows as a slow frequency component. Okay, please visit these examples. Please visit these videos. I'm sure they're going to be of interest to you. And please reflect on the comment about these videos. Now, here we're going to show you that not only that we suffer from aliasing, but we can tell exactly which frequency component will be represented by which. So here it says we have a sinusoidal signal, the original signal, the blue signal, okay, it has a frequency of 1100 Hertz. Sorry. And this is being sampled at a rate of 2000 Hertz. Is this enough? Of course not, because this is below Nyquist rate. This is called now FS. This is the sampling frequency. And this is now the original frequency. You can see that this is less than 2200, which is the required minimum required. So the question is, what are we going to receive? Remember that the folding frequency is Fs/2, which is 1000. So the 1100 will be folded around Fs/2, which is 100. So the difference here is 100. Okay, it will be folded inside, and it's going to show as 1000 minus 100, which is 900. So we're saying here that if you're going to receive this, the reconstructed signal is now shown as the red signal, which is lower frequency. And to tell you that in the time domain, notice that with the sample we have taken, these solid lines, solid circles, they are common between 900 and 1100. And this is why we recovered the signal with the wrong spectrum. Having taken more samples, we'll do no mistake. So if we had a sample here, this is different between the red and the blue. Another sample here, for example, is different. But if we look at the crossing points, we take sample only at the crossing points, then we are not sure, is it the blue or the red signal? We always pick the low frequency. Let's try another example. Frequency signal of 1800, which is sampled at 2000. What will be the recovered signal? Okay, so the original signal is the blue, the recovered signal is the red. This is Fs. So Fs/2 is going to be equal to 1000. So if we draw the frequency line, this is 1000. Here is the folding frequency. Our frequency is really high, so it's around 1800. So from here to here we have 800. This is going to be folded to the inside around the folding frequency, which is Fs/2. So 1000 minus 800, it's going to be 200. So aliasing is very tricky. Although the frequency is higher, we're getting a lower frequency. So it makes things that are high frequency look like low frequency. So okay, here is an example, a practice example for you. The following figure shows two sinusoidal signals. One of them is the original signal, and the other one is the recovered signal after sampling. You expect the recovered signal to be the lower frequency. The first question says, write a time domain expression to represent the two signals. You need to know the amplitude, the frequency, and write the function. Is this a sine, a cosine? Why the recovered signal does not equal to the original signal? What do we call this phenomena? Sketch the spectrum of the sampled signal. To find the sampling frequency, you need to know how many dots, how many samples. These are the samples, okay, in a given time. You need to find how many samples are there in a given time. Okay, so look at the time axis, and then you can tell what the sampling frequency approximately. After that, you will be able to sketch the spectrum. So please, you can pause this and think about it, and please share your answers in the notes section. Once more, don't forget to look at the water amazing experiment, an amazing water experiment, and the aliasing videos. Thank you.